Hi, my name is Jade Scapillato, and I appreciate the opportunity to share with you my personal philosophy of education. I believe that all people, no matter how young, are worthy of dignity and respect, and that the deepest desire of all is to feel seen, known, and loved. As a teacher, I recognize the value and potential of each one of my students, no matter what their life experience is or how their behavior manifests in the classroom. I believe that students are the heart of the classroom, and that my responsibility as a teacher is to nurture supportive and trusting relationships with each one of my students so that together we can build an inclusive, safe, and encouraging classroom community in which each student feels a sense of belonging. Schools play an important role in society as they are the place where children spend much of their time during formative years. Schools provide young people with knowledge, skills, socialization, and values formation, influencing both individuals and society. Schools have the capacity to stabilize communities by supporting families and creating opportunities for young people. Schools are the place where children learn academic content alongside how to be good and productive citizens. I believe that schools must prepare children to be successful adults while also providing nurture, care, and support for them as children, just as they are. As stated by educational philosopher John Dewey, schools should act as miniature communities that model democracy and promote mutual respect among different groups. Schools should provide students with the opportunity to practice skills as they learn, all with the goal of setting students up for success in school and beyond. In terms of curriculum, my hope is that when children have left school, they will still be able to use what they have learned. Our children need a strong basis in literacy and math, as these skills support them in many areas as they grow and develop. And they also need a variety of opportunities in STEM, social studies, and the arts. These are core skills that are timeless in their practicability and purpose. And I believe that learning is fluid, that it's a process. Our hidden curriculum needs to include the development of social and emotional skills as well. As an educator, I believe that I have a responsibility to integrate social emotional skills development into my curriculum in an ongoing way. Every day is an opportunity to support and empower my students, not just academically, but as people, so that as they engage in learning, they can also understand how to work cooperatively with others, develop empathy and compassion, refine patience and respect, understand themselves, and express their emotions in healthy ways. My classes involve a lot of group work and discussion, and students are encouraged to share their ideas and questions. This encourages students to develop interpersonal skills as well as utilize their own unique gifts. Our society is defined by continuous change and development as the result of new technologies, and this needs to be a key feature of our educational curriculum. We have a responsibility to not just teach our students how to use technology, but how to use it responsibly. We need to equip them for the realities of their world while also helping them develop the ability to think critically and consider ethical and moral implications of their actions. It's important to be able to recognize and acknowledge the positive and negative aspects and implications of all technologies and advancements, and to find solutions and solve problems in a way that considers what is best for society and individuals. To equip our students to be effective participants in society, they need to have not just skills, but know how to use those skills. This is the challenge for us as educators. I identify with humanist and constructivist philosophies, which both place the learner at the center of their learning. Within these philosophies, students are seen as complete beings, capable of learning and growth, encouraged in that learning, and given opportunities to self direct their learning. And that my role is to offer opportunities for students to have an impact on the world. I desire to nurture the whole child. I agree with educational theorist Jean Piaget, who said that children are energetic learners who are naturally curious about the world around them, and that their interactions with their environments and people are crucial to their learning and development. This means that my classroom and the ways that we treat each other within that classroom are critical to the learning that can happen there. The instruction I offer is hands-on, immersive, and allows students to construct meaning from their experiences. I know that learning is affected by the environment, but it is also impacted by our emotions, physical state, mental health, and home life, among many other factors, which all work together and cannot be ignored. We must understand that all students are influenced by factors outside of school and operate under the assumption that all students have experienced some form of trauma, so we can provide appropriate support and scaffolding to all. I desire to teach elementary age children with a focus on the primary grades. In middle childhood, students do their best when they are familiar with a topic, so I aim to provide authentic learning opportunities that connect to the students' lives and interests. Children at this age fall under Piaget's concrete operational stage, and during this time, it's important to make concepts as concrete as possible to support growing comprehension. I am particularly interested in this stage as it is when children can think beyond themselves and consider other people's perspectives and opinions. I believe that teachers can support students at this age to develop empathy and understanding for others, playing a huge role in supporting students' social development. The multiple intelligences theory helps us to understand that human beings have different intellectual strengths, meaning we all learn differently, represent things in our minds uniquely, and have diverse ways of demonstrating our learning. An education that treats everybody the same way is actually very unfair. For this reason, I incorporate a variety of modalities within my lessons to expose students to different learning opportunities and make sure there are opportunities for all students to both learn and express themselves. I also know that children learn through play. Play is how children make sense of the world around them, and as such, I want to make learning fun. My classroom is not a quiet one. It is a place where students can apply their learning and enjoy their educational experience. I believe that children themselves partially determine the way they are treated in general. However, as educators, we have a responsibility to look beyond behavior to understand what might be happening internally and determine how to support that student academically and socially. I know that many of our students have different needs, some formally diagnosed and some unrecognized. And so I incorporate the Universal Design for Learning, or UDL, into my classroom by designing lessons that provide multiple means of engagement, representation, and expression to meet diverse learners' needs. I organize a variety of hands-on activities, projects, experiences, and lean into my students' different interests and motivators. I incorporate a variety of media into my lessons and ensure that students with varying abilities can comprehend the material. Applying UDL principles creates an inclusive, flexible environment that enables all students to succeed. The same principles apply to assessment. With an underlying belief in the individuality of all students, I offer multiple ways for students to demonstrate their understanding based on their individual needs. I believe that assessment should benefit the child and improve their learning, not be something that causes stress and anxiety. I want my students to succeed, and I want my assessments to be fair for all children. I also believe more in the process of learning than in the end results of tests. And so my assessments encourage students to retain information and use creativity to demonstrate their learning. I would rather give students unlimited chances to try and try again, should they desire to take those opportunities, instead of giving them a poor grade, as I believe they learn more when they can revise their work. More importantly, I want them to know that someone believes in them, in turn, allowing them to believe in themselves. As an elementary teacher, I have the privilege of encountering children early on in their lives when foundational beliefs are being shaped and their sense of self is being developed. The voices we hear around us impact the inner voices within ourselves, and I desire to be a positive and encouraging voice in the early lives of my students. I want to help each of my students recognize their own value, strengthen their sense of self-worth, and appreciate the diverse gifts within each other. I believe that students learn best in a psychologically safe, mistake-friendly environment, and it is my role as the teacher to offer unwavering respect, unending support, and unconditional acceptance. Each student is a complete person and capable of growth. And in my classroom, students are free to make mistakes as they grow and learn, as I understand that mistakes are universal and unavoidable. It's how we handle them that makes all the difference to our emotional regulation and the neural pathways that form from those experiences. For classroom management, I favor positive behavior interventions and supports, or PBIS, to emphasize reinforcing good behavior rather than punishing misbehavior. I incorporate PBIS principles by defining and setting clear expectations from the beginning of the year and in an ongoing way. I use positive reinforcement and classroom reward systems and offer behavior-specific praise. I use logical and consistent consequences for students who don't follow expectations, and I invite students to be part of the solution, involving them in check-ins and brainstorming solutions when misbehavior does require attention or correction. I believe that this helps create a positive classroom environment where expectations are clear and students are supported in learning positive behavior and social skills. I believe it is important as a teacher to always be engaged in self-reflection so that I can understand and be aware of my own perspectives and biases. And with that awareness, make choices that honor each one of my students with respect and compassion. I create classroom environments that are inclusive and accepting and prioritize creating a sense of community amongst my students. I believe that all of us learn better when we belong and feel accepted, and I want each of my students to both extend and receive acceptance while at school. In order to accomplish this, I follow a culturally relevant pedagogy, which advocates for a consideration of the culture of the students in determining the ways in which they are taught. Just as I use UDL principles to support students no matter what unique factors they experience, I also incorporate an awareness and sensitivity to the communities and cultures which shape my students, knowing they bring their individuality into the classroom. I believe lessons should be meaningful, and when students care about what they are learning and feel cared for, they learn better and retain more. I see the role of the teacher as a guide, and I desire to share my knowledge and experiences with the students, while also inviting them to contribute to and construct our learning together. My beliefs in the process of learning and the value of all children means that I have to work hard to create lessons that contribute to the classroom culture that I envision. However, I believe that this work is valuable and can literally change lives. My favorite quote as a parent has always been Andy Stanley's: "The greatest contribution you make to the world may not be something you do, but someone you raise." I believe this to be true for educators as well. I hope that my greatest contribution to the world is the impact I have on young people that I have the privilege of investing in and walking alongside at a pivotal stage in their development. Thank you.